Hi Familia, this week we were going to be talking about voice notes.
Hey Enzo, this is probably too long for a voice note.
Hey Claire, I know, save it for the podcast.
Your space for an unfiltered and candid conversation.
Skip the small talk and dive in deep. Hola familia. Hello.
We're
Hola, bonsoir.
Buonanotte. What else is that? Buenas noches.
Buenas noches.
Good evening.
Good evening. Well, I was more buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes.
Because it's too early for noches.
Oh, it's afternoon.
Yeah, it's afternoon.
What is in German?
It's like, I don't know.
We're really
ignorant. Do you remember?
Guten Tag.
Guten Tag. It's not a good morning though.
Guten Morgen.
Good morning.
Guten Tag.
Guten Tag.
I think
okay.
Guten Tag is the Ian. I used to love German. Do you know? I loved
Interesting.
it. Frau Y. Oh my God. Wait and see if you're watching. You'll remember. She was so lovely. Did you do German at school?
No, I didn't. No any.
1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. I was about to say diez, but what's 10? I don't know. I got to 9.
Pong. Wow.
Anyway, we're back with the Duolingo sponsor.
How are you, Familia? I hope you are joining this new micro season. This is like episode number 2 of this season.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited about it.
Mm-hmm.
And
time for...
Actually, yeah, we have a new segment. Exactly. We have a new segment, which is Guess the Hum. I'm nervous.
Are you nervous?
Let me see. Wait. I think I have a song.
Okay, ready?
Okay, so I'm going to hum for like a few seconds.
Yeah.
And Claire has 3 chances to guess what song I'm humming.
I'm ready.
Okay,
let's go. What?
Wait.
I wake up every morning looking like is that who is that? Is that Katy Perry?
No.
Wake up every morning looking like manicure on my toes. I don't know who it is.
Stop, make it pop. Na. She was like, she has so many party hits.
Megan.
No, she has so many party hits. She's actually the original Charlie XCX. Before Charlie XCX, we got her. The original party girl.
Honestly, do I know her?
Yeah, you do. I'm sure you know her. Like, but you guess the song.
Well, yeah. Don't stop, make it hot, make it da na 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 na. Who is it?
Kesha.
Oh, Kesha.
Yeah,
Kesha.
The original party girl.
You're right. What a song. What a
throwback.
Well done, love.
Very good.
Very good humming.
We're so talented at humming. This is our new thing. We're gonna make it harder and harder by week, so stay tuned.
That was a good one. I wasn't expecting you to go classic. I thought you'd go more current, but you went classic.
I surprised you, Claire. I came in like a wrecking ball. Are you ready for my topic?
I'm ready. What are we going to talk about?
So I think this topic is very topical for us, I guess. It's a topical topic, and it's very like basically I want to talk about like if everyone should be sending more voice notes. So
like,
you may know or not, but basically this podcast was born of like us sending so much voice notes to each other. Basically at the beginning of a friendship.
How cute.
We were like sharing so much of our voice notes until we say like, oh, we should have a podcast, and here we are.
Like, God, we're actually so interesting. Why don't we turn this into a podcast? And here we are 4 years later.
So it's very interesting because
cute.
this is the idea for the topic came because I saw like an article for the Times magazine.
Fancy pants.
You're pants for the Times. I'm referencing a reference, guys, here. So to the Time magazine talking about like how voice notes are like way of showing love and like so there was like a whole thing about how voice notes are really important. Anyway, I went into this hole of like voice notes and like discovering a lot of information about people hating it, loving it, I think, interesting. Like,
Okay.
I mean, what do you think about voice notes? Oh, clearly you love them, but
Yeah.
like, what is maybe the main reason why you send voice notes
A mix
instead of
different
texting,
things.
for example?
I think I'm better verbally than written. I really like writing, but I feel like I used to get quite a lot of feedback of like, oh, are you mad at me? Over
You sound like a
text
bitch.
Or you're really short on message. So
It's true, you are.
I'm quite blunt on message because I just can't be bothered. And I just am like, oh, like I think I can sound quite angry. So what I tried to do is I tried to soften it with an emoji. Do you notice this? And I'm like, no. And then like a little emoji or something.
And it's like, okay, she's just okay.
Stickers help me a lot.
Stickers
help me
is
a lot.
life-changing situation.
Because, but I think I can communicate my feelings better verbally. So I think that's one thing. So if you send me a really in-depth, paragraph about your feelings or whatever, I'm gonna say record back with a voice note.
Yeah.
And also I find it like because I'm like walking a lot, like out and about. I don't know. I just like I don't really like to be like holding my phone, texting. Also, like we live in London.
Yeah.
You're constantly fearing for your life with your phone.
Yeah.
So I just would rather do a quick voice note rather than so I'll be there in 5 minutes, and so rather than I'll be there in 5 minutes, and so I think it's easier to do a voice note. I agree.
Just to start a bit, I wanted to share a bit of like a bit of data, a bit of numbers to kind of have an idea like what's happening with voice notes around the world, which I found really interesting. For example, like globally, WhatsApp reports that users send a daily average of 7 billions of voice notes.
7 billion voice notes
Billions
globally. Wow, okay.
That's fucking crazy.
Do you think that's a lot?
A lot, 7 billion.
Do you think?
Billion.
Given how many people there are in the world, though, and how many people are on WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Okay, like it's quite a high number.
Anyway,
you're like,
then,
wow.
I was like, fine. Sorry. Then we also have like, I found out like there's a big difference between like baby boomers, Gen Zers, and millennials, and how do we use them. For example, I found like in the UK, third of the Gen Z generation prefers now send voice notes over text.
Okay.
Because they claim that is the fastest way to communicate, which I agree.
Yeah, I do think so.
Then basically, this is an interesting fact, 10% of voice notes are more popular amongst younger male than female. And this article was talking how this is going against the common stereotype of that women talk more than men. Well, apparently,
so younger men are doing it more than younger women.
More than women
in Gen Z.
In Gen Z generation, so that was interesting. Basically, 1 in 7 adult British use a smartphone to use a voice note. So 1 in 7. So this is interesting. Okay. Then in America, it goes deeper. Like here in the UK, I couldn't find a lot of like data. Apparently, we don't care much to think about this, but in America, we say like 2 in 3 Americans, they send a voice note.
That's a lot.
40% say like voice notes are substitute of phone calls. So people are calling way less. So 50% say like voice notes actually strengthen their relationship with others, which is something I wanted to touch on later. When I was doing this research, it was funny to see how many people feel like really attacked or really like offended by a voice note. Yeah. It's like a real thing. And I found like articles of like basically like journalists doing essays about how disrespectful and egocentric sending a voice note is.
Why?
So I wanted to, I want to unpack this. There's a lot of things like, for example, like 30% of people, they feel annoyed when they receive a voice note. 48% think that requires more effort a voice note than a text. And 68% reports that they need to listen a voice note more than once to understand what the other people is saying to them.
What?
So I want to unpack this a bit because I feel like I have so many things here, but I feel surprising how like it's so hard for people to communicate each other by like talking, which should be the most direct way on text, right?
I'm just trying to think of why that can be annoying. I mean, I guess it's true that you might not always be in the place to like listen to a voice note, or if you're in the office, for example, you might need to put headphones on, obviously. Yeah. But it's surprising because for me, it's a lot easier. Like I get more annoyed by receiving texts, or like I'm more likely to be like, I'll get to that later.
Yeah. And apparently, like, a lot of this comes from like a lot of people feeling like it's like a bit of an invasion of your time, because for a lot of people, like receiving a voice note, it feels like a commitment of 2, 3, 4 minutes to listen like what's happening on your side. And I have to stop what I'm doing to really pay attention to what you're saying. And they come off that saying like, oh, that's really like egocentric. It's like really unconsiderate from the other side.
But
so that made me think about
different?
like, I don't know, that makes me think a lot about like, maybe it's depending on how you're sending this voice note to, how you're communicating with who, and all of that. Sometimes they call it mini podcasts, which is funny now. That's why I was like, I feel attacked. They're lazy and inconsiderate, and they're bordering the receiver for the convenience of the sender. Also, they say like it can be a one direction rant when you offload and the other person has to just take all that information and then maybe offload out to you. So it can become like a fight of offloading without really like a proper conversation of analysis of the situation, which I found really interesting as well.
Okay.
So also they say like it's a bit of like, my time is more valuable than yours. Like it's kind of like, trying to understand where that was coming from, but it's gonna be like, oh, I'm just deciding that you need to invest that time to listen to me and my problems or what I'm having to say. So a bit of an invasion of that.
It's interesting because I think you learn, don't you, when you're becoming friends with somebody. Obviously, we became. I do think it did move along our friendship, probably the voice notes actually, because I think we were sharing quite a lot. But you like to send voice notes and so do I. But then there are different dynamics where you'll probably be sending voice notes to somebody and you know that person is going to be responding back with text. And it's like, but that's okay, isn't it? Because like if the person is like listening to your voice note, replying to your voice note over text, but then they probably go into their stuff over text, I would say. So I don't know if it would be that unequal, you know?
I was wondering like if it's about like, I don't know what's like, maybe if you can share how it's your process with maybe new people, or to kind of like understand where and when is the right time to send a voice note. Because I think for me, it takes a bit to understand where the other person stands.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And it's like, we're in a place to send a voice note now. Like, should I send a voice note?
I get you.
Is it the time to do it? Like,
it can be a bit awkward at the beginning with a new friend, I would say. Because it's definitely. I just think that I prefer to go with voice notes, and I'll probably just start with that. Like, I think I wouldn't really think twice about it if we're quite close, obviously, and we're communicating quite a lot, and then if they never respond back with voice notes, then I might think okay, maybe I should probably voice note less with that person because maybe they find that annoying. But you know, Wincy, like one of our closest friends, she'll never send a voice note. Like, she never ever will. But I've known her for like 25 years, so I know the situation, whereas obviously with new people, I would just assume like, I think it can, weirdly, I do think it can like block the WhatsApp convo a little bit. But once again, like, you have different people in your life that have like a different level of closeness, right? And that goes the same with like technology and communication. Like, you will have your people that you're in touch with every day, and then you'll have the people that you're in touch with once a week, once a month, every 6 months, just on your birthday. So I feel like it is quite intimate in a way, like sending a voice note. It's not like, I don't know, not like it's not intimate's not the right word, but I do feel like you can get closer.
I agree. That's one of the points of this Time article that's saying like how sending voice notes and why we should be sending more voice notes, which was like a point of all of this. It's really crucial to kind of like show love, affection, and get way closer to people. And one of the things when I was researching about this and like discovering that people have so strong opinions about like sending voice notes, it was like how you can really like, especially if you have family that it's far away, or you have friends in different cities, especially like nowadays in this world that we live in, like probably it's more common to have people in different places. If you live in a city like London, probably half of your friends are in different countries. Like, maybe you are an immigrant, so your parents are far away, and the fact like through a voice note, it's so interesting because you can share like it could be even like a really special moment that you can make you feel really connected and part of what the other person is living. One of the articles I was reading was about this psychologist, I think from Essex, and it was saying has this whole study about like people and responding to voice notes and how they feel closer to their family and things like that. It was an example that made me think, and I was like, oh, that's really beautiful about this. Like basically one of these girls that were part of the study say like she loved to share voice notes with their friends, because when you're sending a voice note, for example, you are cooking, you are talking to your dog, you're talking to your partner, maybe your kids are in the background, maybe you're doing something, you can hear the sounds, so it kind of give you like a really sensory experience. It help you to make you feel part in that moment with the other person.
So true.
So I think that's really interesting, and we do it a lot. Like, I don't know, you send me a voice and you are, cooking, doing things, you are eating something. It's kind of like it feels like we are in person.
It's true,
and it makes you so, like, even if you cannot see the person like every day or every week, every month, or maybe even once a year, it can make you feel that you are part of their life in such a way there's no other situation.
And I feel like with a voice note as opposed to message, like of course you can go on a tangent with a message, but you can go on a tangent with a voice note. That's really natural and really nice, because you can be like, oh wait, 1 second, I'm saying something. Like it does, it's like what you say, it's like you feel more like you're together than with a kind of curated message that's being text. Like of course that might be representative of like how you're feeling or how that person is feeling, but there is something a lot more natural with a voice note.
You can understand the tone of the voice, the intention,
exactly,
like the feel.
But it's less commitment than a phone call. I don't know if you want to talk about phone calls, because I think you definitely have strong feelings about phone calls. So do I. I feel like it's less of a time commitment somehow. Even though we send like long as fuck voice notes, I feel like you can do it when it suits you. Whereas like with a call, I mean, like I think I've become less and less a fan of calls because I'm like, oh, like the time spent.
I agree. I just wonder if maybe it has to do with the personality as well, because I feel like one of the things I was reading for this research is like how people think that phone calls are better, because actually you're having a real time conversation about something, and it's very casual, it's very like on the moment, on the spot, while voice notes sometimes it can be like one side saying other things, other side saying other things, then again, then back and forward. And that made me think that has to be a lot of the style of communication you have with the other person, maybe.
That's interesting.
Like, I feel like maybe with my closest friends, like you, for example, I have a style of communication that we work really well over voice notes. And it's never like you telling me about something and me telling you about something and we don't address the other that's the problem from a lot of people. Seems to be like a lot of people feel like they don't feel that being addressed with their issues. When you're in a proper, let's say, phone call, you have to address it because you're live, let's say.
It's true though, but I think I'd argue that that's not the form of communication. That's a problem with your friendship or something, because it's like you can be on a phone call. Like my mum says that sometimes, like she can be on a phone call with a friend and they'll literally never ask her about herself. So it's not that. It's any mode. Like literally someone can text all about themselves and then you can text them back about you and they might not address it. So I don't think that that's like the voice. I'm like, it's not the voice notes fault. It's the communications fault in a way.
One thing about she coming, he coming.
Stanley's coming.
Coming to the frame. And when I was reading about the downsides and the good things about voice notes, it kind of like, one thing is like how can make you feel so close to your friends. And I think like I wouldn't be as close as you if we wouldn't share voice notes. You know what I mean?
It's
I
true.
think we connect in so many, like, because let's be realistic. For example, in our case, we live in a big city. We have when you live in a big city, you can spend weeks without seeing your friends.
It's true.
Even the closest people in your life, you speak weeks and you haven't seen them. If you cannot share, like, if I wouldn't be able to share, like, on the go things with you, I would feel like, oh, you're missing a lot of parts of my life as well.
Definitely.
Well, at least not on the go, but at least sometimes. At least you can do it, like...
I agree.
Sometimes during the week, you update yourself. And I think, like, that makes... And that's why this article was talking about, like, seeing voice note as an act of love.
Definitely.
Which I think I see a lot of that as well.
It's true. And I would argue it's like, things crop up in your life where a text just won't do it, and you can really like hash it out on, like, I was updating a friend, like our friend Franco, like I don't get to see him as much as I would like to, but then I was like, oh, let me tell him about the situation that's happening in my life, and then he was sending me voice notes back, and I was like, oh, it kind of feels like we've like hung out. It's so nice. And like I don't think I would necessarily get there on text, because I'm going to be like, oh, by the way, Franco, like all this is happening, la 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 la, and you know, I just think, but are we going to have a call? No. Like, that's really unlikely, you know?
And I think like hearing the other person's voice, that makes, I mean, that's the base of communication. So kind of like not using that, I felt so strange. And one thing I was reading about all this, about like how voice notes, for example, are really game changing for like people that have like, for example, like disabilities.
Yeah.
And they cannot write, or they cannot have a call. So voice notes are like really game changer for like if you are blind, for example, like anything. So it's kind of like really how important it is. And especially say also if you are far away, it made me think a lot. Like I live far away from my mom, and me and my mom with change. It's cool that my mom is a type of like boomer.
Okay, so she voice notes.
She voice notes all the time. She also like text, but she's more of a voice noter. So we're sending like voice notes all the time. I'm like, good morning, mom. She's replying me back, and that makes me feel so close to her, because I can listen to her voice every day, and she listens to my voice every day.
Yeah.
So that's like such a big advantage to have this, and I think that applies for everything.
What you were saying as well is like, I think the voice can tell us so much, because I can, obviously we know each other so well at this point, but I can literally tell from the hey love, I can tell what mood you're in, and that's like with your mum, it's so important as well, because you know for her, you being far away, obviously it would give her like, she's like, oh, okay, he's fine, or okay, he's a bit grumpy, but by 4 p.m. he's better, or something like that. I think we can tell a lot more than, and also I think on text as well, like I was saying at the beginning of the episode, I can sound moody over text. I'm not moody at all. Sometimes I'm moody, but I'm you know, sometimes I can sound pissed off, and I know it's kind of frustrating, because I know that I sound pissed off, but I'm actually not. But if I was to voice note, I'd be like, hello. So I agree. You know, there's something really important about hearing the voice.
Have you had like big fights or complicated situation by text? Because I had, or misunderstanding.
Yes, definitely. Yeah,
like
definitely.
I do feel often, which is makes me think a lot about. I feel like very off many times with texts from friends. Not everyone, for some friends or some people, some family members, because it's hard to understand the tone. So I'm trying to read them in their voice and be like, okay, it's fine. It's kind of like, it's fine. But then it's like, is it though? There's no emoji. So is it though?
I know. I feel like
it's hard.
It's hard, isn't it? I think I've definitely had in the past. And I think that was like a learning curve for me of like, I am actually getting into more arguments, because I think I'm coming across badly. So I just know, especially if I have to say something difficult, I know, let's just go straight to the voice note, even if we don't normally have that dynamic of a voice note. Like if I have to say something difficult to Wince, we don't have the same dynamic as us, a voice note. We actually more text, because she doesn't like voice notes. But if I have to say something a bit difficult, I will say it over voice note, because I know I'm going to come across stronger. Is there anybody in your life that like just will not voice note? Apart from Wincy.
Yeah. It's funny. I'm always to Wincy like, sorry, Wincy, I'm sending someone's voice now, but I prefer to tell you the things like that. She's like, don't worry. Like my boyfriend, Andis, like
he's not much.
He only sent me a voice note if it's something important happening, you know, like really like a problem or like an issue, or it's like something complicated. If I get a voice note from him, I know some shit went down. You know, overall, I don't know, and I don't think he's a really fan of me send him voice note even.
Interesting.
But then for me, it's okay with him, because I think he's really expressive through messages, and I maybe also probably
through time.
I understood what's his tone and how he's feeling, how the way he's writing, so that's okay. But I think that would be like a big one, because he's not really a big fan of it. And then I have some other friends that we have in common. For Leah, for example, we have a friend that she's not a big voice noter.
Mixed sometimes.
And I understand sometimes if you don't have time, it's a bit more difficult. But
totally.
But I just think like a phone call is more intrusive. It's so fucking intrusive. Don't call me. I hate people calling me.
Yeah, don't call Enzo.
Don't ask. Unless for me, if you call me, it's an emergency, and I will take it. If I see a call from you, it's like, you're bleeding and I'm gonna help you out, but don't call me to ask me whatever, like I feel like there's something about, and talking about like all the emotional and the that part of voice note. I just feel like when you have this, like you have a bit of moment also to take in what the other people say. So you take like the message, you take like the feel, you take the tone of voice, you kind of like put all these pieces together and decode. You take that in, and then you can reply with something that makes sense. Which I think, if you're on a phone call, that's like on the spot. You don't even have time to think. I don't know if it happens to you, like for example, even when you have an argument in real life, that you may say something, and then when you think about it, when you have more time or when you're in a different position, you're like, oh, that what I said was so. That was very weird of me saying that. I didn't have time. I didn't have to even to breathe and think about it. So
that's a good point. Yeah, it can make your communication. Yeah, it's true. It gives you like less reactivity in a way.
That's what I feel. It could be like such like a good enabler.
Yeah,
enabler to kind of like make relationships stronger, because actually you have the time to take it in and be like, okay, this person is telling me this, what I should say about, but so kind of like more of a room of like reflection, I feel.
Yeah, definitely. I was just thinking that because I'm now voice noting with my friend Laura a little bit more, because she lives kind of in the Midlands. And like she has chickens and everything, you know, she has little chickens. I always love that detail. But we now are sending each other voice notes. And she was like, oh, I love listening to your voice note when I'm doing my skincare.
Oh,
I was like, oh my God, that's so cute. Because it's true. It does like make you feel like you're hanging out with your friend, and you don't get that over text, and you can't always give that time with a phone call.
If you're listening to this and maybe you don't feel totally comfortable with voice notes, but you also don't want your friends to not send you ever a voice note, or you don't want it to become a thing, maybe you can have like some rules to make this healthier way, or like kind of like I read some I read some that they were like, create like a day that you send voice notes to your friends. Like for example, sometimes one of my friends, Hennessy's, was one of my closest friends. Like we talk about voice note a lot, but sometimes she has Fridays are voice note Friday. So we haven't talked a lot during the week, and on Friday she will send me a voice note with an update.
Okay.
And I respect that, you know. It's like this, she has like her day to send a voice note.
Okay, fair enough.
Even if I haven't talked during the week, I will expect the voice note.
Because it's easier for her to like keep on top of things by doing that kind of thing. Okay.
So, and there's some people that have like, they just do like, in the mornings, they just update with the voice note to the people that they reply, blah, 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 they give updates and whatever. So, you know, there's like some kind of like a healthy, I guess, healthy for some people, like dynamics that you can apply to. I think it's difficult
because we're literally in 24/7 voice note. Like honestly, I'm literally thinking of like, and I don't even with Leah, she doesn't send voice notes back, but I'm like, I don't respect your time. I'm literally like, here's my update. I don't really mind what you're doing.
When she told me something like, because you including your voice notes, and I was like, I'm sorry, sister, this is what it is.
I'm with like Leah, like, I just came out of Pilates and I'm going to buy a lemon, and like literally like, I don't know, like, let me think, what's respectful? Like maybe
Why
you
could
say, I won't reply to your voice note now, but I'll find a time later.
Okay.
If somebody doesn't reply to me, I just respond, just send them another one.
Like,
I'm like, what else can you do?
I think maybe we have unhealthy dynamics with the voice notes.
I feel
we send too many voice notes?
One thing I want to change is, and I think maybe even tomorrow I'm going to do this, is I would definitely like to have, because you sent me something in the week about days you should have in the week or in the month or whatever like that.
I want to like...
I want to have a disconnected from technology day, because I think because my boyfriend was away this week, it's literally like, it reminded me of, I was like, yes, I really changed that. Like when I was living alone, I was so on the phone, and because he was away, I was literally like so on my phone again this week, like voice noting everyone, Instagram, like it, and I was like, God, like I'm really like, now he's back, I'm like still finding myself like, where's my phone that I don't normally have with him, because I try to be more present when I'm with him. So I think tomorrow I think I need to have like a no connection day, because
that's a healthy thing.
Yeah.
Which could be a downside of technology overall. And like
exactly.
The voice note thingy.
But I think like we don't need to feel like we're in constant contact. Is that something you struggle with? Because I think I struggle with that. Like not being in constant contact with people.
I agree. Yeah. I think with people that are close to me.
Yeah.
Like if I feel like if I don't know from my base. She's dead. She's dead. It's like, I need to take my black dress out of because she's fucking dead. You know, that would be, whoa.
Exactly, because I think I would probably need to tell you and Wince and my mum, for example, and Leah, by the way, you won't hear from me on Sunday because I'm having a technology day.
You will have to announce.
Leah will be like, God bless.
God bless
literally,
the gods.
have that day free.
One thing that surprised me when everything was reading is like how maybe people lacks a lot of like common sense as well. Like, what's going on with you guys out there? Like read the room as well, you know? Like, it, you know, like I cannot send you a voice note at 8 a.m. of 10 minutes complaining about my life and expecting you to reply me in a minute and then pissed off if you don't do it. You know, like, you need to understand first who are you sending the voice note to, right?
True.
Who's the person receiving? And you, if it's someone that you know, that hopefully you will send the voice notes to people that you already know, more or less, you will kind of understand, okay, they take this time to reply normally. They are busy because they work at these times, you know. You understand if it's your friend or your person that you love, how are their life dynamics, and then you should have like expectations that are matching those dynamics. I felt so strange, like,
very true,
you know, like I know if I send a voice note to you, you will probably reply kind of soon, like in an hour time, because I know you're more on your phone. I will do the same.
Exactly, yeah.
But I have friends that I know they will take 6 hours or a day to reply me, and I know that's our dynamic. So it's very strange when people are like, oh, this is so abusive, my time, blah blah blah. What people think, it's like maybe some people feel like anxious because they feel like this is like a very like, you need to reply straight away. That's part of the problem. Like you need to kind of give a response and you need to like be there for the other person. I don't see it like that.
I feel like one tip that I could give about that is, if you're one of those people, turn off your read receipts. Like turn it off so it's like not blue,
so no one knows if you receive or not.
I have my blue ticks on, but I have my last seen off. Do you have yours on?
I have my ticks are on. My last thing, I don't know. I don't remember.
Because I don't know, because I can't see. Because I find that a bit much. Like, I don't want people to see when I was online sometimes, because I like to avoid people until, you know, sometimes you need to avoid people until, like, I'm not gonna, like, my mum will know she's not gonna hear from me on a Saturday because we're doing this.
Of course.
So it's like, I'm not gonna, you know what I mean? But I think those tools can help. Or like, I know that you can see when people are online sometimes on Instagram. I don't have that switched on.
I need to check if I can have that, because that's creepy.
Because I think because I know we have it on the podcast. So, but I don't know, because mine's off if you have it on. So like there are like little tools like that you could, you know, that you can avoid people until you're ready to reply to them. Feel like that pressure of like, oh no, fuck, I've clicked on it. So if you're worried about that, then that's one thing I can recommend, maybe.
I think that's a good one.
And also putting boundaries, because that's more of a boundary with yourself, isn't it? Well. You know, rather than with the other person, unless the person is like really psycho and like, reply to me, bitch, you know, which I think I do to you, like, reply to me, bitch. But that's because we're literally
we have no respect to each other in relationships. Like in the beginning of the dating period, in the dating stage or something, like maybe how long it takes you to send a voice note, and have you felt like it actually helps your like connection, maybe? Yeah,
maybe. I mean, I had like definitely males that I was dating in the past ringing me or trying to FaceTime me, which I found like, this is really invasive. Don't enjoy that. Voice notes, like I think probably quite from, I'm just trying to think, because it's been a while since I've been dating, so I think probably quite early. I think me and Jorge, for example, I think we were sending voice notes, because I remember that was really cute, actually. There you go, there's a tip. I remember that from we had a really nice, obviously like a really good first date. And then I was like, I've got a podcast. And he went away and then he listened to the podcast. And then he sent me a voice note on like a review of the podcast.
Oh, so he sent the first voice note.
So he sent the first voice note, and that was literally we had the first date on the Thursday. He sent me that on the Friday. And I was like, but I remember I was like, hi. Like,
Jessica Rabbit for no reason.
Literally, you know. So, but then I think that was nice that he did that early on, because then there was no weirdness.
Yeah, it's actually cool. I think the fact that you sent the podcast, it was like, okay, this bitch is mad about voice notes, so he felt probably like comfortable to send that.
So that was really nice.
He wouldn't feel like you will feel like it's too much or
and
something.
I felt like that was quite an investment as well, because number one, he was watching the podcast, that obviously is really cute. And number two, he took the time to send me a voice note from someone you've literally met on Hinge and you've had one date with. I was like, oh, he's really nice. Like, I really like that. That's really respectful, you know? Yeah. So I think, I mean, once again, it's what you're comfortable with. Like, don't start to send voice notes if you're never going to send him a voice note, him or her a voice note ever again. Like, probably just go with like what you're gonna be like in the relationship if it does go that way. How about you? Because I remember like once again.
Oh yeah, we have stories. But yeah, I have like
the gift that keeps on giving.
The gift on giving. I have like a person that was dating like briefly, and that was like from almost first day, like voice video calls and voice notes. And
were they sending you voice notes as well? Okay, yeah.
Which it was funny. I mean, I found it because I took that as like, oh, I want to get to know you more quick. Yeah. So it's just kind of interesting. But for me, it was a bit like I literally had to say, I hate phone calls. I'm just taking this one for you now, but I cannot do this all the time.
But yeah, you can't push people to have a phone call if they really don't like it. Like you can't push people to have to do voice notes if they really don't like it either, you know? So I think you're so right about like that respectfulness. But I think like anything, it's just like, I don't think we need to really overthink it, but it's just like getting to know somebody in so many other ways that you need to get to know somebody. You get to know that person's not good in the morning, or you get to know that they're always working out on a Friday, or you know, you learn all these things, then you're like, oh, it's Enzo doesn't like phone calls. It's just, we need to take the time and because technology and communication are such big parts of our lives now, it's just a natural thing that comes with time. You know?
And I think like, I agree with that. And I think for me, when you were saying that, I was thinking like, oh, for me, like when I send a voice note to someone, that means that I'm closer to the person. It's kind of like,
definitely.
Oh, we are in a stage, maybe I'm more friends, or we're more
definitely.
Or when someone sent me a voice note for the first time, it's like, oh,
exactly. I know what you mean.
This person probably likes me, and I'm like, oh, that's cool.
Totally.
I can send a voice note back. And it's like, this is something you will never get on text. Well, maybe if you get like a weird sticker, that could be like an equivalent. True. You know, when a new person sends you like a sticker or like a random meme, you're like, okay, we're in this stage now. So.
But yeah, I was thinking I will be fearful the day that you stop sending me voice notes.
I will like prank you.
I'll be like,
I will prank you one day and just send you like texts.
I'm like, who's the replacement? Who is he talking to? Such an interesting. You made me think. I'm gonna be thinking more about this
about this,
and maybe you guys can let us know if you're a voice noter, not a voice noter, what you feel.
Apparently it's so divisive, like everyone has a different opinion, and like
this is really opening my eyes, you know,
kind of 50-50.
My eyeballs.
Thank you, Time magazine, for writing this article. Very interesting article that started this research into voice notes. But anyway, clearly we love them. That's why we have a podcast called like this. So.
Chilling for voice notes. Thank you so much, love. Great topic.
Thank you so much for to share your thoughts.
You're
with
welcome.
Me. And well,
see you next week.
See you next week, Familia.
Bye. Guys.